ABELE is the Association of Belarusians in Europe. We decided to create this because we find it very important to raise the issue of Belarus in Brussels. Here we have the European Parliament, the European Commission, the Council, and we want to make sure that Belarus is not forgotten. People in Belarus who are now in prison, who are fighting for their freedom, we want them to be remembered. We want people to fight for them to be released. That's why we organize these events. So today we gathered here at Place de Luxembourg to make sure that in Brussels people know that there is a human rights crisis in Belarus. It's outrageous, it's unprecedented, even for Belarus. We have had 30,000 people arrested since August. Some of them were, of course, released, but there are many political prisoners. Nowadays we have 270. Maybe tomorrow there will be 300. These numbers grow every day, and many of them are women, unfortunately. We want to make sure that they are remembered. We want to make sure that their names are raised in every meeting here in Brussels. That's why we gathered, to make sure that people speak about them. We also did it together with the Polish women. They are fighting their own fight to make sure that their women's rights are respected in Poland, and together we're stronger. This solidarity is extremely important, it's very touching, and only together we can make sure that human rights and democracy reign everywhere in Europe and the world.
I think we should further delegitimize Alexander Lukashenko. He's not the elected president. We should try to kick him out of all international institutions. There should be no access for him outside of Belarus. We should isolate him as a president. We should put in tougher sanctions, especially also on sectors such as chemistry and energy. And we should help the civil society even more with a really broader plan, with a broader package, financial package, so people feel welcomed here in the European Union while they're expelled from their own country. It's extremely important to remind everyone, not just in Brussels, of the tough life, especially for the female prisoners, political prisoners in Belarus. Of course, as well as the situation in Poland is difficult, but I think people in Belarus, especially the women, suffer a lot. While it was a female revolution last summer and the month after, and many of the women had to go to prison, were arrested for nothing, and so it is up to us to take a minute and remember of this.
Hi, thank you very much for having us. I'm representing Else Sans Frontières, Polish Women on Strike. I'm really happy to be here with the representation of a number of women. Of course, here we are mostly protesting about the situation in Belarus, but we cannot forget about everything that is happening right now in Poland, about the judgments from the 22nd of October. We cannot forget that this is our fight, and today we have to fight for women's rights. It's a political issue, it's a social issue, it's an economic issue, and the European Union cannot forget about what's important, and that we will never stop fighting until the war ends and until we feel that the reality that we are living in is equal for all. So thank you so much, and let's stay strong, let's stay united, and let's keep fighting. Thank you.
It's important to show our solidarity because the human rights are still violated, and not even outside the European Union, but within the European Union. And one of these examples is Poland, where the Puppet Constitutional Tribunal has limited women's rights to abortion. But also outside, on our eastern neighborhood, we have Belarus, where for 26 years the dictator is ruling the country, and people are being killed only for fighting for democracy, human rights, and rule of law. This is today's situation in Europe, and this solidarity, like today's, is very important. we need to be in solidarity, but this solidarity also should mean unity of our legislation. People all around European Union should have equal rights, and still this is not the case. Still people in one member state have more or less rights than in other member states, and this is to be changed, and this we as Europeans should demand from the European institutions, that one day we will live not only in European Union of freedom of services of people, movement of people, but also in European Union of equality, and this is my dream.
Today we celebrate the International Women's Day, which is a day during which we talk about women's rights, about rights of women around the world. So this is very important to show solidarity, to show support, and to show that women's rights are human rights. And every day, in every corner of the world, the women's rights are violated. So we need to stand together, we need to stand side by side, and to talk loudly about violations of women's rights as human rights. We should be here in Brussels, and we should be very, very loud and open, saying that not only in very exotic countries women's rights are being violated. Also here in Belgium, in Poland, in Spain or in Sweden, every day women are experiencing violations of their rights. So being man doesn't mean that this struggle does not concern us. Contrary, every man, every boy should be very much aware of this issue, and we should stand side by side with our girls, with our girlfriends, with our mothers and sisters, and we should show them support.